Most people want financial freedom. They talk about it, they repost quotes about it, they watch videos about it at 2 a.m., but almost nobody actually builds it. And it's not because they're lazy, it's not because they're stupid, it's not because they didn't want it badly enough. It's because they're following the wrong order. They jump straight into investing. They start businesses they don't understand. They copy strategies built for people 10 steps ahead of them, and then they're confused when everything collapses. 90% of people who try to escape the matrix fail within the first year, not because the goal is unrealistic, but because the sequence is wrong. Money follows order, and when you violate the order, money punishes you. Today, I'm going to show you the exact sequence that actually works. The same framework I used to build freedom through modern wealth vehicles without relying on luck, inheritance, or viral miracles. My name is Prophet Prince, and for the past few years, I've watched thousands of people attempt freedom and crash into the same invisible walls over and over again. What I learned the hard way is simple. Wealth isn't built by motivation. It's built by alignment. Skip steps and the whole thing collapses. Follow the order and momentum becomes inevitable. This isn't a get-rich-quick video. This is a get-free-for-life framework. If you're looking for shortcuts, click off now. But if you're ready to build wealth that survives market crashes, bad months, and bad decisions, keep watching. Because this might change how you see money forever. Stage 1. Stabilization. Stop bleeding before you try to grow, before you invest, before you start a business, before you chase passive income. You need stability. Most people don't have a money problem, they have a leakage problem. They earn decent money, but it disappears. By the middle of the month, they're confused. By the end of the month, they're stressed. By the start of the next month, they're pretending everything's fine. Sound familiar? Here's the uncomfortable truth. If you don't know where your money goes, you don't control your life. Stage 1 is about income awareness. For 30 days, track everything. Not just rent and bills, everything. Coffee, Uber, subscriptions you forgot existed. Late night Amazon purchases you don't even remember making. No judgment, no guilt, just data, because you can't optimize what you refuse to observe. Once you see it clearly, split everything into 2 categories: needs and wants. Rent, need; food, need; transport, need; Netflix; unused gym membership; takeaways because you couldn't be bothered; wants. Most people discover something terrifying at this stage. They're financing a lifestyle they don't even enjoy. Then comes optimization. Cancel aggressively, downgrade ruthlessly, simplify without ego, not forever, just long enough to create breathing room. Because here's the secret. Freedom doesn't start with making more money. It starts with keeping more of what you already earn. An extra £100 a month isn't small. It's £1,200 a year. That's capital, that's leverage, that's options. Stage 1 isn't sexy, but without it, everything else is fantasy. Stage 2, protection. Build a buffer so life can't ruin you. This is where impatient people fail. They want returns, they want growth, they want money working for them, but they don't have protection. Investing without an emergency buffer is like trying to sprint on ice. One unexpected expense, a car issue, a job problem, a family emergency, and everything unravels. Stage 2 is about building an emergency buffer, not luxury money, not lifestyle money, survival money. 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, not your full lifestyle, just what keeps you alive and housed. If that sounds overwhelming, start small. £500, then £1,000, then build momentum. Automate it, separate it, forget it exists, and know a holiday, a shopping spree, or a mental health weekend is not an emergency. This buffer buys you something more valuable than returns leverage. When you're not desperate, you negotiate differently. You choose better. You move strategically instead of emotionally. This is where confidence actually comes from, not affirmations. Stage 3, elimination. Kill high interest debt before it kills you. This stage isn't optional. High interest debt is financial gravity. It drags everything down. Trying to invest while paying 20% interest is like filling a bucket with a hole in it. It doesn't matter how motivated you are. The maths will always win. List every debt. Highest interest first. Attack it aggressively. Credit cards, store cards, payday loans. These aren't tools. They're traps. Yes, it might mean living like a student for 6 months. Yes, it might bruise your ego, but here's the reward. Once the debt is gone, your monthly cash flow explodes. Suddenly, you're not working for yesterday's decisions. You're funding tomorrow's opportunities. Low interest debt like student loans or mortgages, different conversation. High interest consumer debt, non-negotiable. Kill it. Stage 4, skill stacking, where money actually comes from. This is where modern wealth begins. Money doesn't come from money. Money comes from value, and value comes from skills. Stage 4 is about building one high-income skill that fits the digital economy. Not 10, not everything at once, one. High-ticket sales, trading, property sourcing, serviced accommodation, YouTube automation. And if you're like me, who's a very smart, calculated, competent individual, then you can spend 1 to 3 years of your life mastering 2 to 4 of those skills and becoming really wealthy and skillful and useful to society like every man should be. But really, the skill doesn't matter as much as the commitment. Here's where most people mess up. They dabble, they binge free content, they stay confused. Free content is entertainment. Paid education is direction. Those that pay attention. Therefore, their life changes. Invest in structure, a course, a mentor, a framework, then practice relentlessly. Build proof, build competence, build confidence. At first, charge low. Learn fast, improve weekly. Once you can generate an extra £500 to £1,000 per month consistently, you've crossed a psychological line most people never reach. You've proven you can create income independently. That belief changes everything. Stage 5, expansion. Turn skills into systems. This is where wealth separates from hustle. Stage 5 is about scaling. You stop trading hours for money. You start building systems. Freelancers stay stuck here forever. Builders move forward. If you have a skill, package it, systemize it, teach it, scale it. Agencies, automations, digital assets, teams, document everything. Outsource what drains you. Reinvest profits instead of inflating your lifestyle. This is where income goes from linear to exponential. This stage requires patience and restraint and long-term thinking. Most people fail here because they celebrate too early. Wealth isn't what you spend, it's what you keep and compound. Stage 6, multiplication. Let money work after you've built power. Notice this comes last. Not first, not early, last. Only now do you invest aggressively. Why? Because now you're protected, skilled, cash flow positive, mentally stable. You're not gambling, you're allocating, diversifying. Stay patient, think decades, not weeks. Investments aren't your escape plan anymore, they're your multiplier. This is where wealth becomes inevitable. Final truth, freedom is built in order. Most people fail because they rush. They want the outcome without the process. But success leaves clues, and this order works. Every time, different speeds, same sequence. The only real question is, will you follow the process or keep chasing shortcuts that don't exist? If this resonated, your next step is simple. Watch the next video where I break down exactly how to deploy your first £1,000 intelligently in 2026 without getting played over-leveraged or sold dreams by people who don't live this life. I'll see you there.